exclusive coverage of the NBA Finals.
It's clear now the most important game of the NBA's regular season was March 1st, Portland at Chicago. Not so much for the Bulls' easy victory, but rather for Phil Jackson's bold comment on the eve of the game.
I think this club, Portland, represents a team that plays in spurts, but they'll self-destruct.
The game was never close enough to test Jackson's theory. Chicago rode a glaring overmatch at small forward, Scottie Pippen outscoring Jerome Kersey by 18 points in a 20-point blowout. And the point Michael Jordan made afterward stung all the more. The Bulls had publicly amplified 3 years' worth of doubt about this Portland franchise, and suddenly what had been only whispered around the NBA was now spoken openly. Portland was good, but they lacked the resourcefulness and savvy to win close, important games. And so, for the past 3 months, the Blazers have endured daily questions, not about their shooting or their rebounding, but about their judgment and on-court leadership. Portland has protested occasionally, but the slander has been so caustic, so routine, that the Blazers now know they have only one effective reply.
Is the NBA on NBC. The 1992 NBA Finals. Tonight, Game 1 between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Chicago Bulls.
The Madhouse on Madison has become one of the most recognizable symbols of the city of broad shoulders. That, of course, was Carl Sandburg's description of Chicago. But in searching for a headline for this series, we might borrow from a literary figure of an earlier time, as both the Trailblazers and Bulls arrive here motivated and burdened by great expectations. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Costas. Welcome to the NBA Finals. Portland's great expectations can be explained this way. Another near miss means another year of the same old criticisms. And no matter how they might deny it, another year of searing self-doubt. A victory, though, turns the ambivalence of the past 3 seasons into soaring triumph and allows them to take a proud place alongside Portland's 1977 champions, the Jack Ramsey coach team of Walton, Lucas, and Hollins. Ironically, a team prized for its intelligence. But if it's going to happen, it may have to happen now, because given the advancing age of some key players, this may be their last good shot with this cast. For the Bulls, there are great expectations of a different kind. This team has its championship. Now it seeks its place in history. Lose here, and the Bulls may be remembered as a very good but not great team. However, back-to-back titles would certify their greatness and earn them a place in the NBA's pantheon of all-time best teams. Beyond that, considering the relative youth of their nucleus, they could be in position to extend towards a dynasty. Portland and Chicago. It was almost inevitable. They were the favorites in November, and now they meet in June. Which of these two teams will fulfill its great expectations? The answer begins to unfold in a few minutes. With us tonight is a man whose team last year eliminated Portland before losing to Chicago. 5-time NBA champion Magic Johnson joins Mike Fratello and Marv Albert for the call of the game. Marv?
All right, Bob and Magic, you have certainly seen the Trailblazers firsthand over the years. Have you had the feeling that they self-destruct in close games down the stretch?
Well, Marv, definitely. We felt when I was playing with the Lakers, if we kept the game close, that they would somehow give it to us, whether it's a turnover or a bad shot.
All right, with that reputation, be it valid or not, what is going through the minds of the Trailblazers as they prepare to go up against the defending NBA champions?
Well, speaking with Clyde Drexler today, he said, look, we're out to prove a point, not only to the Chicago Bulls, but to the rest of the world that we can win close games and win the NBA championship.
All right, Mike, this is a series that features two of the NBA's premier players, and Michael Jordan and Clyde Drexler. Both have had outstanding seasons, as it turns out statistically mirrored each other.
First of all, we have our two great basketball teams. Chicago, best record in the NBA with 67 wins, and then Portland, 57 wins, the second best. But there's no question that the two superstars, Drexler and Jordan, have led these two teams to the finals. And when you look at the numbers, there's not a whole lot of difference between them. Same age, almost the same height. Jordan, best in the league at 30 points per game. Drexler, fourth best at 25 points per game. The rebounds and assists, just about exactly the same. And depending on how these two players want to approach it, they can turn it on either from the beginning to start a game out or at the end when needed most. For Drexler, only 4 points in the first half, but then 14 big ones against Utah to help Portland close out that series in 6 games. For Michael Jordan, with the bad wrist, only 6 points at halftime against Cleveland, a big 23 in the second half, 16 in the fourth quarter to help the Chicago Bulls end that series in 6 games against the Cavaliers. So we have two great teams. The eyes focused here on the two superstars, the Jordan-Drexler matchup.
All right, and when we come back, we'll have the introduction of the starting lineups as we close in on Game 1 of the best of 7 between the Portland Trailblazers and the Chicago Bulls.
C is brought to you by the Coors family of fine beers. Original Coors, Coors Light, and Coors Extra Gold. Golden, Colorado since 1873. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
It is always a glorious scene here at Chicago Stadium when the starting lineups are introduced. And here is the public address voice of the Bulls, Ray Clay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Bulls welcome the world's greatest fans to the Chicago Stadium. Tonight's Game 1 of the NBA Finals is between the Portland Trailblazers and your Chicago Bulls. And now for tonight's lineups. First for the visiting Portland Trailblazers. At forward from Maryland, 6'8", Buck Williams. A 6'7" forward from Longwood College, Jerome Kersey. At center, a double O from Eastern Illinois, Kevin
experience here in Chicago with the lineups introduced. Now let's go to the man who will be handling the sidelines throughout the NBA final, Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, thanks, Marv. Just an update on that bad wrist that Michael Jordan had, which caused him to shoot so badly in Game 6 against Cleveland. The wrist is fine. As you know, he has an everyday weightlifting routine that he does even on game day, and we were lifting weights this morning, and I witnessed him pick up 265 pounds, showing that the wrist is fine. Craig Hodges, who also sat out Game 6 with a bad ankle, is available to play. And Marv, did I mention that I also had a PR of 210 pounds? Thank you. Marv?
We were lifting weights. Well, I know I speak for the Czar and Magic in saying that we'll be enthusiastically charting Ahmad's daily lifting totals.
Well, he is probably Michael Jordan's spot man.
Yes. The officials, Jake O'Donnell, Hugh Hollins, and Dick Bavetta. The Chicago Bulls rolled through the regular season, winning 67, losing 15, best record in the NBA. And then in the playoffs, swept Miami 3 in a row. Were taken through a grueling 7-game set by the New York Knicks and did not have an easy time with Cleveland beating the Cavaliers in 6, while Portland won 57, lost 25 during the regular season, tied with Cleveland for the second-best record behind Chicago. In the playoffs, beat the Lakers 3 games to 1, beat the Phoenix Suns 4 games to 1, and took Utah 4 games to 2. We are set for the opening tip. Bill Cartwright steps in to go against Jerome Kersey, and it's controlled, well, deflected out. And it will be Portland ball, last touched by Chicago. Terry Porter being played by John Paxson. And the matchup at the start, Michael Jordan facing Clyde Drexler. Kevin Duckworth going at Bill Cartwright. Nice fake, yes, and it counts.
I would think for Duckworth to start off the basketball game, get the first basket for his team, the first hoop of this championship series, it's got to be a tremendous confidence builder for this young man, particularly a young man who has received his share of criticism this past season.
I think you can look for both teams to go inside early. The game won't be as fast probably in the first half as it will in the second half. So look for both teams to go inside.
A foul committed by Cartwright. Duckworth, a local product out of Harvey, Illinois, who had to garner up a host of tickets for tonight's game, giving Portland a 3-0 lead. Cartwright, and the good box out by Kersey. Here comes Drexler. Yes, and it counts. The foul called on Pippen.
Long outlet passes that pitch ahead to Drexler and Kersey in the open floor. One of the trademarks of this Trailblazer team, Clyde, with the tremendous ability to keep his concentration and convert even though the foul takes place.
One thing the fans going to have to look for here is the fact that in the last 2 series, Michael didn't have to play defense. In this series, he will have to play defense all the time.
And what happened that time, Michael went to the offensive boards last time down, got caught underneath the results. Drexler ran out.
Jordan spotting Pippen. Portland 5 and Chicago 2. Drexler, a line drive jump shot with Jordan off.
Some of the great ones have the ability to elevate and then see the entire floor. Michael Jordan draws 3 people and then finds Pippen underneath.
Now Pippen posting up. Cartwright blocked by Drexler. Porter with that change of pace dribble was hit by Paxson. And very quickly the Bulls have collected 3 team fouls. This a non-shooting foul. Phil Jackson wants to not happy about what he has seen here at the start with a minute and a half gone by. We discussed at the start of the telecast the rap put forth by Phil Jackson that the Trailblazers self-destruct in close games down the stretch. I asked Rick Adelman of the Blazers, will he use those comments to motivate his team?
I don't think I have to. I don't think our players forget what's been said, but we haven't talked about it a lot. We've talked about just doing our talking on the floor. We're going to go out and play. We have nothing to apologize for to anybody. I don't care who they are. We've won, I don't know what, 70% of our games over 3 years. We've won 80% of our playoff series. I'm sorry, that just doesn't hold water. If that's the case, then there's an awful lot of teams that are really struggling in this league.
Right off the steal, Paxson finding Jordan, shooting the 3. The save by Cartwright, and Grant was fouled. Called on Kersey.
Well, Marv, talking about what Coach Adelman just talked about, yes, it's out there, and it is in the back of their mind. I think in Game 6 of the Utah series, they needed to win that game in a close game to say, okay, we can win close games.
All right, Cartwright setting up on Duckworth, and he drew the foul. Kevin Duckworth called for his first. And Bill Cartwright, who has had a dreadful time of it at the free throw line, will shoot a pair. Bill Cartwright, when he first entered the NBA with the New York Knicks, was a very solid free throw shooter. In recent years with the Bulls, he's dropped off. And it has reached the point, Magic, 7 for 19, 36% from the line for Cartwright during the playoffs.
But you know why, Marv? When he was with New York, they went to him a lot. He got to the foul line a lot, and he got a chance to get in a groove and in a rhythm. Now, the Bulls do not go to him. He don't get to the line a lot, and his free throw percentage falls off because of that.
Well, he's just helped his percentage immensely by hitting 2 out of 2. Here's pressure by Chicago. We saw very little pressure in the previous series against Cleveland.
No, this is exactly what they want. They had Buck Williams and Kersey back handling the ball near the half-court line.
And Terry Porter, who has been on fire during the playoffs, able to convert. Blazers 9, Bulls 4.
And that's a good sign for Terry Porter, because in the 2 games this season against Chicago, he was shooting just over 31% against the Bulls.
Michael Jordan. Portland 9, Chicago 6. Drexler getting down. He had to save it. Buck Williams, offensive foul.
Jordan at the offensive end of the floor, the ability to hang just long enough to get that good look at the front of the rim. Tremendous concentration by Michael.
But Clyde Drexler said that's what they want. They want to force Michael to the middle, to the help. They accomplished that, but Michael still scored.
And then you saw the quick, long pass back, trying to get a score in transition. I talked to Paxson before the game. I said, do you want to run up and down with these guys? He looked at me like I was crazy. No way, he said. We have to be selective when we run against this team.
Buck Williams called for his second. He's replaced by Cliff Robinson. Shot clock at 5. Here's Jordan. Cartwright gets to it again. Lost the dribble off his foot. 3-on-2 for the Blazers. Drexler all the way. Clyde Drexler at his best in the open floor, hitting for his 3rd field goal. He has 6, and Portland with an 11-6 advantage.
Marv, nobody better leave their TV set, because there's going to be some great plays in this series.
A live promo offered up here by Magic.
Well, he's not lying, because when you get a guy who can take it at 6'7", lead the break, and then just decide to finish it over the top of everyone, man tells the truth.
Portland Portland has hit its first 5 from the field. Another substitution for the Blazers. Mark Bryant, 4-year man from Seton Hall, replacing Kevin Duckworth, who has picked up 2 fouls. So 2 apiece on Duckworth and Williams. Cartwright being played by Bryant. Jordan shooting the 3, and Porter starts back. Drexler making contact with Paxson. Crowd looking for a foul, and it was knocked out of bounds by the Trailblazers.
And Clyde Drexler caught Paxson on his back in the lane in transition, just posted him up, looked for the long lead pass, just lost control.
Nice look from Pippen, pretty pass from Grant, and Cartwright was fouled. Once again, Cartwright to the line. Porter called for the foul.
Not many big people are willing to be interior passers, but this Bulls team plays so unselfishly. They're always looking for each other, and the key thing is they know where they are supposed to be on the floor. They find their teammates because they're in their right spots. That's execution.
And you can tell that what we were talking about earlier, both teams want to go inside. There hasn't been many jump shots, and both are trying to establish their game right now.
Bill Cartwright has hit his first 3 of 3 from the free throw line. And the outside official, Hugh Hollins, indicating a lane violation that Cliff Robinson stepped in too quickly.
You may leave and step over the line when the ball's released. You can see there the ball's clearly in Cartwright's hand. He's all the way across in the lane.
Well, see, that's Bill Cartwright's. Watch it, how he shoots. He comes up with it and then releases. Where most free throw shooters, they come through all in one motion. He has 2 motions.
Little head fake by Cartwright. Jordan able to keep it alive. Paxson for 3. Pippen back for Jordan. And the Bulls here in the early going shooting the 3-pointers. They have not been a team normally that looks for the downtown shot, while Portland does. And the Bulls have been off the mark, only 2 of 10 in this first quarter. Terry Porter, that was 2-point range. He had the foot on the line. And Porter's bucket giving Portland a 13-7 lead.
One other thing to look for, when you shoot a perimeter shot for Chicago, Portland sends that man and tells him to take off for the long lead pass. They fly the jump shooter's man on the shot. He does not have box out responsibility. So long rebounds will come back to Chicago.
Shot clock has expired. It's a 24-second violation.
Sometimes it's just a matter of inches between the 2 and the 3. Porter going up, touching the white line, which shows that it is only a 2, not a 3.
If the fans can look at it, see how Clyde Drexler is playing Michael Jordan. He's not up on him. He's playing like 2 feet off, where he's enticing him to take that jump shot. And right now, Mike is 0 for 2 from out there. And let's see what happens during the course of the game.
Cliff Robinson, yes, and the Blazers have hit their first 7 field goal attempts. It's Portland 15, the Bulls 7. 5 minutes gone by.
And on the other end, you have a 2 for 10 Chicago team.
And once again, Portland on the run. Kersey spinning. That's their first miss of the night. And Pippen was hit on a reach-in. Jake O'Donnell making it very clear that he has the call. And it's against Porter, his second.
And in the transition period, the quick outlet pass, Porter trying to slow up that Bulls fast break attack, and that's one of the things that Cleveland tried to do, was particularly jam Pippen, who leads so many of the fast break opportunities.
Portland over the foul limit, so Pippen to the foul line. Scottie Pippen telling us that the ankle and wrist injuries are behind him. He finished the Cleveland series strong with 29 points, game 6 on Friday night in Richfield, and an up and down series against the New York Knicks, and then turned it up against the Cavaliers. Bill Cartwright replaced by Scott Williams. So Cartwright departs. Scott Williams making his presence felt against the Cavaliers. Played very well. Had two very strong games.
And Bill Cartwright was not happy when he saw that Scott Williams was coming in for him. He really got upset.
6.5 remaining in this first quarter. To this point, the game has been played at the Blazers' tempo. It's tipped home as Bryant was able to get inside to use his muscle and give the Blazers a 17-9 lead.
Well, he may have got the easiest 2 points of his career right there, because I would have given him to Chicago, those two.
The Bulls only 2 of 11 from the field. Jordan again from three-point land. Most unusual to see Michael bombing away. That's his third three-point attempt, and he finally hits.
Well, Clyde Drexler is enticing him to shoot it.
Miscommunication as Kersey's pass went astray. Bulls now with Paxson and Jordan in the backcourt. Williams and Grant and Pippen up front. Now Jordan posting up. Goes to the fadeaway. Through the foul. It counts. Drexler picking up his first.
One of the things that Chicago knows it can do is post up Michael Jordan at any time it wants to during the course of a season. They didn't use it much in the regular season, but in the playoffs, they've gone to it more and more, the post up of Michael Jordan. Hey, he's their best post up player.
And you know during the playoffs, you must change your game. So they have changed their game, utilizing Michael Jordan's skill in the post.
Bulls again go to the pressure. Porter with the open shot. Terry Porter during the course of the playoffs has been in what can be labeled the shooter's zone, coming off a subpar regular season. He has really turned it on. Blazers lead 19-15. Porter again. Terry Porter has hit 4 out of 4 from the field. 21-15 Portland.
And then he got back and knocked the ball away and made it a turnover for the Chicago Bulls. So good presence of mind to get back on defense even after the jump shot.
If there are a couple factors that may play big in this entire series, it's turnovers and quick shots.
Drexler with a quick shot. Drexler on the follow-up. Nice pass for Robinson. Portland 23, Chicago 15. Just under 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Marv Albert with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, along with Magic Johnson and Ahmad Rashad. There's Williams banking it home. Portland 23, Chicago 17. And Porter fouled by Paxson. So Porter will go to the line. Do you guys see a defensive shuffle coming up? Terry Porter has certainly had his way with John Paxson here in the early going.
But it's not that Porter has taken Paxson and turned the corner or taken him down low inside. The guy's knocking out jump shots. He'll knock out jumpers against anybody that gives him room.
Well, what he's catching Chicago is in their transition game. See, what you normally do against other teams is you suck back into the paint and then come out to challenge guards. But against Portland, you can't do that. You must get your defense out front and then suck back in.
Well, Phil Jackson now will go with B.J. Armstrong. John Paxson will sit down after picking up his second. Terry Porter grew up in Milwaukee. Did not start until his senior year at South Division High School in Milwaukee. In college, played center and both forward positions. He was a sleeper first-round pick out of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. Blazers lead 25-17 as we come up on 4 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Pippen setting up Jordan, wide open for another 3.
Well, that three-point was created off the penetration of Pippen, and Drexler stepped in to stop him, and Michael was right there for the 3.
During the regular season, Michael Jordan hit only 27 from three-point land. Robinson, and back comes Pippen. Pippen all the way, lost possession, and it's deflected out by the Trailblazers.
You were saying that Michael Jordan, normally not known for his three-point shooting, but remember what Ahmad told us, he was lifting weights this morning. Yes. He feels strong tonight.
Timeout called by the Trailblazers. They lead by 5.
Magic was talking about pushing out on Terry Porter. Don't drop back because he's going to pull up and try to shoot it in your face. He feels it right now in the playoffs. And then he just follows through long enough, okay, to let everybody know that he's got the stroke. Terry Porter.
And he has really turned it up during the playoffs. You see the progress from the Lakers series to the series against Phoenix, and then Utah averaging 26 a game. He shot only 46% during the regular season, but during the playoffs, Terry Porter has scored 30 or more 4 times, including that career-high 41 against Utah.
Well, they needed somebody to step up their game if they were going to get to this point. He was the man who stepped up his game, and Terry Porter, Michael for a drive and missed it, but he's taken them to this point where they're at now with his great outside shooting.
Danny Ainge has checked in for the first time. Robinson changed his mind. Saved by Drexler. Blazers get back. Pippen back for Jordan again for 3. You know, Michael Jordan yesterday, in commenting about the comparisons with Clyde Drexler, said, yes, we're even in every category, although someone said, how about three-point shooting? And Drexler looks for the 3. Usually, whistle for the offensive foul against Portland. Foul committed by Mark Bryant. And Jordan made the point, well, I have not chosen to shoot three-point shots. As if to say, well, if I wanted to go that route, I'd be doing the same as Drexler. Well, he has chosen to look for the 3 here in the first quarter. That time he passed it up and hits the 2.
Well, see, he hit 3 or 4 in a row. Then Clyde knows he had to come up on him, so he sucked him in that time, pump fake, and went right past him for the easy 2-point jump shot.
And you see Rick Adelman is shaking his head on the sideline. What he's thinking about is they are not coming to meet the basketball against the Chicago team. You can't wait for the ball to come to you.
Oh, a strong move by Kersey to draw the foul. The basket counts, and Jerome Kersey will go to the line. Portland leads by 2.
Kersey, the ability to put it on the floor, take it to the basket. One of the big pluses for this Trailblazer team, they have so many guys that can put it down and take their defenders off the dribble.
That stopped a 10-2 run by Chicago, sparked by Jordan, who has 16 points in this first quarter. 3-point play for Kersey. And it's Portland 28, Chicago 25. 2 minutes remaining in the first. Jordan eluding Robinson. Yes! 18 from Michael Jordan. Traveling violation.
Well, Marv, Coach Patello said, Magic, what do you think Michael's going to do? Is he going to come out fast or slow? Here, behind the back, he just tricked. Cliff Robinson went right up. He's in his groove right now. He's feeling it. He wants the ball, and he wants to lead his team in his first quarter.
Here's Armstrong. A.J. Armstrong hits on his first field goal attempt. The Bulls lead 29-28. Drexler with a beautiful move, and he is hammered. Wait a moment. Dick Bavetta appeared to be calling the foul against Chicago, but Jake O'Donnell changed the call. The outside official said no, it's an offensive foul.
But Dick Bavetta stopped short of making the call, checked with the outside official, basically said, did you have a better look at it, a better angle than I did? Jake nodded, said yes. Jake
sit down, and a one-time Chicago Bull, Enos Watley, has checked in. He's guarding B.J. Armstrong.
And I would get Drexler out of there as soon as I could if I were Rick Adelman. You got 2 fouls on you, guy. Take him out. Rest him for the end of this quarter.
Grant from Jordan. The Bulls 31. The Trailblazers 28.
See, this is the time that Portland has to slow their game down now. Okay, let's see what we got here. Not go so fast. You got to take that crowd back out of it. I'm sorry, Marv. Take the crowd back out of the game.
Knocked out by Armstrong. 13 on the 24. And Drexler will throw in. Ainge and Watley now in the backcourt. Bryant with Drexler, Robinson up front. The rejection by Williams. Here's Armstrong on the run for the pull-up. Rebound Pippen. Rebound Grant. The Bulls by 5.
And you could see the excitement in BJ that time. He couldn't wait to get down the court and then actually took a shot that was a little bit too quick, I'm sure, for what Phil Jackson would have liked.
Robinson. Cliff Robinson getting the roll, and it brings Portland within 3. 15 seconds to go in this first quarter.
Well, one thing that Chicago has not seen very often in the playoffs is a 30-point quarter for their basketball team. So they got to be happy with the way they're scoring.
Jordan. And time has run out in this first quarter. Michael Jordan, 7 for 13 from the field, including 3 3-pointers. To turn it around after the Trailblazers hit their first 7 field goal attempts. So after 1 here in game 1 of the best of 7 NBA final, it's the Bulls 33 and the Trailblazers 30. Well, it was one of the most celebrated NBA collegiate drafts of all time. Back in 1984, after Akeem Olajuwon was taken number 1 by Houston, this is what took place.
Portland selects Sam Bowie, University of Kentucky. The Chicago Bulls pick Michael Jordan of the University of North Carolina.
Well, Sam Bowie was taken by the Blazers as the 2nd pick in the draft, and they have certainly heard about that selection a few times over the years. Michael Jordan then was the next selection. Back in '83, the Bulls going with Enos Watley, who, as it turns out, is now a member of the Portland Trailblazers. They took Watley ahead of Clyde Drexler, but you flash back to that time, most NBA teams would go for the big men because they felt that if you had a shot at a championship, it would usually start at the center position. Bill Cartwright, who just checked back in as the second quarter gets underway, has called for his 2nd foul.
And Marv, you're right. At that time, everybody felt you had to have a center, like Kareem or somebody, and that's why they picked Sam Bowie, knowing that they had Clyde Drexler. So where are you going to fit Michael in at?
The other question about Sam Bowie, who certainly had a decent NBA career, the injury problems that he had at University of Kentucky. Sam now, of course, a member of the New Jersey Nets. Here's Porter. Terry Porter continues the onslaught. He's 5 for 5. He has 12 points. The Bulls now lead 33-32. And Bobby Hansen, a seldom used player by Phil Jackson, has come on here at the start of the second quarter. Pippen was fouled, and by Robinson on the block. The early entrance of Bobby Hansen may be the result of the Craig Hodges' sprained ankle, although Hodges is in uniform and ready to go.
And the other thing is you have Danny Ainge on the floor with some size at the guard position. Phil Jackson bringing out Bobby Hansen, who has equal size and strength to match up against him, not to give Ainge a real good look at the rim.
And you know that in this series, Marv, Michael Jordan's going to have to get more rest because you're playing an offensive threat in Clyde Drexler. It's not Craig Eglow or nobody where he can rest on defense. He's going to have to play defense. That's why you're probably going to see more of Hansen as this series progresses.
Michael Jordan sitting down following that 18-point first quarter. So it is Hansen matched with Ainge. Buck Williams is back up front with Robinson and Duckworth. Ainge and Porter in the backcourt. Robinson around Pippen. And it's handled by Williams. 3-on-2 for the Bulls. Pippen for Hansen. Wide open. Yes. Bobby Hansen, who spent 7 years as a member of the Utah Jazz, 1 year with Sacramento, off the bench to hit on his first field goal attempt.
Bobby Hansen's one of those kamikaze guys. You put him out there, he gives everything he has for the minute that he's on the floor. A great role player for a team.
And when we were out there doing our pregame, as you want to call it, I was telling Danny Ainge, I said, hey, you in another championship? Well, Hansen came over and grabbed me and said, look, Irvin, I just want to win one. He's already won one.
Bobby Hansen had played in only 4 of 16 games in this year's playoffs. Here's Ainge. Rebound, Buck Williams. No box out, and Buck Williams able to put it home. The Bulls now lead 37-34. Pippen played on a switch by Duckworth. Finds the open Armstrong. Rebounded by Pippen. Stripped by Porter. The Bulls enter the first quarter with a 16-5 run, but the Trailblazers have come roaring back, and they now trail by 1. Portland did shoot 13 of 19 in that first quarter, hitting their first 7 field goal attempts. Chicago 11 of 24. Illegal defense called for the first time against Portland. 9:34 to go in the second quarter. It's Chicago by 1. We'll be back in a moment.
Heard Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light taking the country by storm. By the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. And by Levi's Dockers. Nobody does color like Dockers.
Ahmad Rashad back at Chicago Stadium now 8 years ago when Michael Jordan was drafted here. You know, nobody sent anybody to the airport from the Bulls to pick him out. And this man, George Kohler, found him wandering around the airport.
Well, it wasn't really wandering around the airport. He stepped off the airplane. I was standing there waiting for him. Strictly by accident.
And you happened to be a chauffeur at that point?
At that point, yes. Had my own company and went out there to pick up a customer. The guy never showed up, and Mike was the last guy off that airplane. So I asked him if he needed a ride. He said yes.
And it worked out very well. You've been his personal assistant now for 8 years.
8 years, yes.
All right, George. Thanks a lot. Marv.
Yes, Michael Jordan found himself wandering around the airport and wondering what kind of organization was he drafted by. I know you did not receive the same treatment, Roger.
No, the chauffeur was there, but the difference is now that I still know how to drive, and right now Michael don't know how to drive because he's being chauffeured around so much.
Buck Williams commits his third foul, and he will sit down. Jerome Kersey checking back in.
Well, screening becomes such an important part of getting the shooters open, and in the playoffs, the physicalness of the series allows for a lot of offensive fouls. Defenders chase him so hard, it's tough to get a good shot at the guy to clear your shooters.
Shot clock at 5. Here's Pippen. He's been quiet. That's his second field goal. 8 points for Pippen. And the Bulls now lead 39-36. At one point, Portland led by as many as 8. Robinson, yes. Nice touch by Cliff Robinson, his 5th field goal. He has 10 points. The Bulls 39, the Blazers 38.
Marv, with all the foul trouble that Portland is in, they should be happy where they're at right now with the score being what it is.
That's 3 on Williams, 2 apiece. That's a 3, 2 apiece on Duckworth, Porter, and Drexler. Porter putting moves on Armstrong. A rare miss for Terry Porter. Armstrong ahead of the field. It's Chicago by 3.
And B.J. Armstrong, taking a page out of Portland's playbook, took off on the shot, was down the floor, just waving, hoping Pippen would look up.
Danny Ainge buries the 3-pointer. And for Portland, their first 3-point field goal. So Danny Ainge in playoff competition now tied for 2nd all time in 3-pointers. Michael Cooper, number 1, but within range of Ainge. Scott Williams. Strong move by the 2nd-year player out of North Carolina to give the Bulls a 2-point lead.
Well, during the regular season, Ainge shot 35% from the 3-point line. Here in the playoffs, over 48% from the 3-point line.
Robinson with the step as he whipped by Williams.
This was a big matchup concern for Chicago. Would Robinson be too quick for that backup guy to guard once Chicago started making substitutions? The backup guy happens to be Scott Williams, and so far, he can't handle Robinson.
Cliff Robinson in his 3rd year out of the University of Connecticut has come off the bench to hit for 12 points. Armstrong, yes. That is his 3rd field goal. He has 6. Chicago leads by 2. Porter, foul by Armstrong.
That matchup we talked about, can Williams guard Robinson? Well, off of this play right here, you'd have to say he's going to have a long night.
I just sitting here waiting for the game to end so we can get to work on the Tonight Show. Tonight, Harrison Ford, Louis Anderson, Star Jones. What do you got for music?
Music of John Cicada.
Oh, it's good. Tonight Show, tonight. Very good. You're doing very good.
Oh, thanks, Jay. I'm trying my best, but the game.
Oh, the game.
The game.
Where's the game?
All right. Thank you, Jay. And Chicago with a 45-43 lead on Portland. You can see the differences between these 2 clubs. Come playoff time, the Portland Trail Blazers have stepped it up with Porter, Kersey, Duckworth, Drexler, Ainge all raising their scoring average. On the other hand, Chicago certainly hurt in the series against the Knicks and had difficulties with Cleveland. Aside from Michael Jordan, they've gone the other way.
Well, a completely different set of games over on the Eastern Conference side, particularly against, as you mentioned, the New York Knicks, and you had a number of the Chicago Bull players who had nagging injuries that did not allow them to play their normal game.
And plus, I thought that the Portland team defense enabled all their scoring to pick up because of turnovers and steals. They were able to get out for easy layups.
Chicago with a 45-44 lead, 6.5 remaining in this first half. Michael Jordan, after getting a considerable rest, has returned. The same for Clyde Drexler, and they match up once again. Here's Jordan to the fadeaway. 20 for Jordan.
Well, they posted Michael, but actually ran a little screen away action in the lane. That was a Livingston on Grant type of away from the ball action, but Jordan used the post up to his advantage.
Ainge took a shot from Livingston, who had just checked in.
See, Jordan is looking to the lane to see if Grant's open there for a split second. When he doesn't like what he sees there, well, then he makes something nice happen for the team.
Superstars love this situation. It's built up to be Jordan versus Drexler. Michael Jordan is saying, okay, come on, you're in my building, come on with it. I like it.
Well, to this point, Clyde Drexler, 3 of 6 for 6 points, along with 2 fouls, while Michael Jordan going to the three-point shot at 18 of his 20 in the first quarter. It will be Chicago ball. Phil Jackson with Jordan and Armstrong in the backcourt. He has Grant, Livingston, and Cartwright up front. So Scottie Pippen getting a rest. Pippen with 8 points, 7 assists in this first half.
Got Danny Ainge trying to keep Livingston off the offensive board, so he's got his work cut out there.
Portland with the ball. They are down by 2. Percy played by Grant. Shot clock at 5. Duckworth gets inside, but it will not count. A traveling violation.
Well, the rotation along the baseline for Chicago came a little bit late, but it was still just enough to bother Duckworth. As he turned to make the layup, he had to pause for a second. The travel took place.
This is game 1 of the best of 7. Game 2 here on Friday. 9 o'clock Eastern time here on NBC. And Grant hit the deck, shaken up, but he's all right. Chicago leads by 4. Drexler for 3. That's his 4th three-point field goal.
He's ready to play. He is ready.
The Bulls by 7, and Portland takes a timeout.
The acclaim waited to be an all-star, waited to return to the NBA Finals. Now Clyde Drexler's patience has paid off as he's earned the ultimate honor, U.S. Olympian. Clyde Drexler, one to watch this summer on NBC.
If you're wondering why Michael Jordan is wide open for these three-point shots, it's because as the ball goes on the floor, the entire defense of the Trailblazers collapses down below the dotted line area. As a result, when the ball comes back out, it takes Danny Ainge too long to recover, and then he's worried Michael's going to ball fake and go around them. The result, a clean look at the rim for Michael Jordan.
The Chicago Bulls, as we mentioned earlier, not noted as a three-point shooting ball club, while Portland is. Yet Chicago's hit 4 of 8, all 4 by Jordan, 4 of 6 from downtown, and the 4.5 for an NBA Finals game. That's Jordan with the steal, eluding Ainge. Yes. The Bulls by 9. Jordan has 25. Michael Jordan with 4 3-pointers and a half has tied the NBA Finals record for most three-pointers in a half. Drexler with a wild shot. Livingston gets to the rebound, and here come the Bulls, led by Armstrong. He fires. Terry Porter blocked by B.J. Armstrong.
A moment ago, we talked about the deciding factor here might be turnovers, which then lead to quick shots. The turnover caused by Michael Jordan's defense, the quick shot caused by Michael Jordan's offense at the other end.
I tell you, the tail of the tape. See, this is what Michael lived for. He wanted this challenge, and he's showing Clyde, not only Clyde, but the world that, hey, I am the greatest, I am the best in the world.
Drexler wide open, pass on the outside shot, and then he drew the foul. It was packed on the play. Jordan now has 25 points. Cartwright called for the foul as third. 25 for Jordan. The most points in an NBA Finals game in one half. 33 by Elgin Baylor. He did in April of 62, and we still have 3:41 remaining in this half, and Jordan is only 8 points away from that all-time record.
Well, we just saw Clyde pass up a wide open 15-foot. I mean, can guarding somebody that puts 25 on you early kind of make you think twice about what you want to do?
Exactly. And Michael has taken him out of his rhythm, and also 2 fouls has not gotten Clyde, not enabled Clyde to get into his rhythm. Michael is in his rhythm, but Clyde is not into his offensively.
The Bulls lead 54-47. Drexler went for the steal, and it's Jordan again. Michael Jordan, 11 for 17, 27. Oh, Kersey with a fatal. Jerome Kersey cuts it to a 7-point Chicago lead. We come up on 3 minutes to go in the first half.
And Marv, this is an important 3 minutes for the Portland Trailblazers to try to stay in this ball game.
Jordan with the one-on-one move, found Grant. Tipped home by Scott Williams. The Bulls 58 and the Blazers 49. Robinson. Run down by Kersey. Goes to the alley-oop. It will be Chicago ball.
And those are the kinds of plays that if they happen at the wrong time, they wind up leading to runs, particularly by a Chicago Bulls team. It's the right time and place that you talk about when you want to throw lob passes. Unfortunately, for the Blazers, they're not coming at the right time.
2:20 to go in the first half. Pippen, rebounded by Grant. Jordan for 3, yes! That is an NBA Finals record. 5 3-pointers in a half. Michael Jordan hits the 3. He now has 30 points. He is 3 points away from most points scored in a half in an NBA final. Elgin Baylor with the record set back in '62. And as you see, the most three-point field goals in an NBA Finals game is 6. Michael Cooper did it for the Lakers against Boston. Bill Laimbeer of Detroit did it against Portland.
My, oh my, oh my. That's all you can say. Michael Jordan loves this platform of displaying his skills, and especially, like I said, he got somebody in Clyde Drexler to go against.
The Bulls have opened up a 12-point lead. 2 minutes remaining. First half. The steal by Pippen. Drexler for 3, air ball. Here's Jordan for 3, yes! Did you see that look? Michael indicating he can't believe it.
Well, if you take those hurried shots, that's what's going to happen. The runs of the Chicago Bulls can open the game wide open. The defensive pressure, the steals, the transition game, and then Pippen taking it to the hole. Michael following it back up again, throws it down. He feels it. There's nothing else he can say other than the man feels it and lets us know.
Oh, here's a 3 again. You know, and just let us know that, hey, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. It's my game. I love it. I love it.
And Michael Jordan with 35 points has set an NBA record most points in a half in an NBA championship series. He has keyed this 19-4 Chicago run over the last 4 minutes. So Michael Jordan has erased Elgin Baylor, the one-time Los Angeles Laker, from the record book. Baylor with 33 and a half back in April of '62. And Michael Jordan with his 6th three-point field goal has
more can you say? I mean, you know, let's go back to what we talked about at the top of the show. Poor decision-making. Right now, Portland is making poor decisions. Three-pointer by Clyde Drexler, air ball. Cliff Robinson shoots off-balance shot. It returns a layup. Steal by Pippen on an errant pass. Dunk Michael Jordan. So it's just poor decisions leading up to this big lead.
And the other thing you mentioned, Magic, in the last 3 minutes, so important because championship teams know when they've got their opponents' heads down a little bit. Instead of going in with a complacent 10, 12-point lead, they try to bury it just before halftime.
Exactly.
And this is a Portland club that opened up by hitting its first 7 field goals. We talked at the start about the fact that they have certainly had the reputation about losing their poise. Cliff Robinson. Robinson has played well. He has 14, and the Bulls now lead 66-51.
You know, normally when you're down this big, you say, well, the team must not be shooting well, but Portland is shooting over 61% in this first half.
And Grant took a push from Robinson, but a second foul charged to Cliff Robinson. Michael Jordan with 18 points in the first quarter, 17 in the second. Remember, he sat out a good portion of this second quarter. Here's Jordan again from downtown. So he's 6 for 9 from three-point range.
You know what's making this 35 points that he has in the half so outstanding is the fact that normally he's driving and doing spectacular shots in the lane, and tonight it's all jump shots.
And he stayed away from the outside shot against the Cavaliers in Game 6. That's an illegal defense call for the first time against Chicago because Michael Jordan was bothered by the sprained wrist, and then he went to the drive and certainly excelled and took the Bulls to the victory down the stretch of the fourth quarter.
16 big points in the fourth quarter against Cleveland.
Kersey rejected by Grant. The Bulls with a 3-on-2. Final seconds of this first half. Grant. Williams knocked it away, and time has run out. A very special first half here in Chicago. Michael Jordan, 14 of 21, an NBA Championship Series record, 35 points in the half. And you had the idea, even Michael was astounded by his proficiency, in particular from three-point range. Bob Costas and Quinn Buckner coming up next.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the companies of the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid: the Prudential.
Halftime at Chicago Stadium with the Bulls leading the Trailblazers 66-51. The Bulls have outscored the Blazers by 26 since midway through the first quarter. That, of course, is when Michael Jordan took charge. We welcome you back to our perch here in Chicago Stadium. I'm joined by Quinn Buckner. Michael Jordan has broken Elgin Baylor's finals record for most points in a half. As Marv Albert pointed out, Elgin had 33 and a half in Game 5 in 1962 against the Celtics. Michael goes for 35 here in the first half and hits 6 of 9 from three-point distance.
Bob, it was just incredible to sit here and watch this guy go at the basket the way he did. He had 18 in the first quarter, which is good. But one of the things that most of us don't think about is the bench. The bench for Chicago came in. They even had Bobby Hansen come in. It allowed Michael Jordan at the end of the first half to have, going into the second quarter, to have a 6-minute rest. And that's why he was able to come back with the onslaught in the second quarter. He is normally not able to get that kind of break. So the bench is something that I think is really important for both teams. Obviously, Chicago's bench did an outstanding job in getting Michael Jordan a break.
A close and obviously very intense first quarter and then the blowout in the second quarter. It's not out of Portland's reach, but there's a tone here that if it holds means more than just a 1-0 edge for Chicago. It means a big message, doesn't it?
Well, I think it can be considered a message, but first of all, you got the score moving toward where Portland wants it. Once they get it over 110, they're pretty effective. But the Achilles heel of Portland has always been their decision-making on taking shots. I thought they started taking shots too quickly. When they missed them, the Bulls converted. That was the problem, I thought, for the entire second quarter for the Portland Trailblazers.
Okay, shifting gears here from basketball to tennis. At the French Open today, there was intermittent rain throughout the afternoon, so only 2 of the men's quarterfinal matches were completed, but they involved the remaining American men in the draw. Here's Dick Enberg in Paris with a report. Dick, so Agassi and Courier, both finalists in the French last year, will meet in the semis, and don't forget, the women's finals are at 3 p.m. on Saturday, that's Eastern time, and the men's finals will be at 9 a.m. Eastern on Sunday morning. Coming up next from Chicago, Marv, Mike, and Magic will take an in-depth look at Michael Jordan's nearly unbelievable first half. We'll have many of the highlights. That's right after this message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. You know, throughout the postseason, we've hit upon the theme that at times Michael Jordan scores a higher percentage of his team's points than Phil Jackson would like. They like to distribute the scoring. But when Michael feels it, the way he did during that first half run, the best idea is just to get out of the way. Clyde Drexler or anybody else might be the second best player in the league. But when Michael Jordan is in a groove, whoever is second is a lot closer to third and fourth than he is to first. And that's no disrespect to Drexler or anybody else who might challenge Michael Jordan. At his best, he still stands alone. And for a look at his first half, here's Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, and Magic Johnson. Marvelous.
All right, Bob, and I think we have seen a slice of NBA history here in the first half. And what is most remarkable about what was accomplished by Michael Jordan is the fact that he scored 35 points in 19 minutes. And that is incredible.
Well, he found almost every way possible to score points in that first half. Let's take him outside behind the three-point line first. And his teammates knew he was hot. Pippen draws the double team, kicks out. Drexler left him just long enough to open it up for Michael to begin the barrage of three-pointers. Then the record-breaking three-point opportunity came along the way, which set a new NBA record. He went to backing people down to fall away jump shots. Michael felt it. The team felt it.
Now, you forget about that he's an all-pro first-team defensive player, and here he makes a steal. He comes down, and when he's in the groove, pulls up for the jump shot, and you know what it is. It's money. It's good. And now he comes back, and he's hustling at all time. He trails the break, slam dunk. It's Michael Jordan's show.
Well, it was so good that we had to show you the record breaker. Michael all alone, no one near him. In fact, he's a foot behind the three-point line when he knocks down the big one to break the NBA record.
The NBA record that was held by Elgin Baylor. He had scored 33 points in a championship series game back in April of '62. Michael with 35 for the half. And Magic, how about this stat line? 19 minutes, 14 for 21 from the field, 6 for 9 from three-point range, 1 for 1 from the line, 35 points. But I don't know, he missed 7 shots. The wrist must be bothering him, I think.
It must be. I think the Portland Trailblazers hoping in the second half that his wrist will be bothering. But I think what he did, he came out to show the world that he is number one. Like Bob said, everybody else is a distant second.
Well, Michael, from time to time, as we have seen, will use different situations to try and rev himself, be it a fan sitting courtside in Cleveland, as we saw in the Bull Cavalier series, or it could be a player, John Starks or Xavier McDaniel, might annoy him for the moment, and it gets him going. In this case, there was no question it was the sight of Clyde Drexler that got him going.
The fact that they've been billed as the 2 best off guards or scoring guards in the NBA. Michael trying to prove that there's a little bit of distance between number 1 and number 2. But the sad thing is, we're going to have to hear Ahmad take credit for this, that it was him training this morning that brought Michael to this new height.
Yes, it was that pumping that Ahmad was able to orchestrate. Bulls hear it from the crowd as they step back on. Michael Jordan, 35 points in the first half. We'll be back in a moment.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Come to the companies of the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
Back in Chicago, the Bulls 66, Portland 51 at halftime. A look at today's Miller Genuine Draft halftime statistics. Clyde Drexler only 3 of 9 from the field for 8 points in the first half. The Blazers shooting 60%, yet they are trailing by 15 points, and the Bulls at 53% on 26 out of 49 from the floor. Part of the story because of Michael Jordan. The Bulls, who normally do not look for three-pointers, have been seeking them out tonight. 6 for 9 from downtown for Michael Jordan, and the Bulls as a team 6 of 11 from three-point range. Right here, let's go to Ahmad, who has Portland coach Rick Adelman alongside him.
All right, thanks, Marv. Now, Rick, your team is shooting 60%. Excellent offensively, but still down by 15.
Well, there's two areas you can immediately look at. Jordan had a fantastic half, but they got 11 offensive boards. We turned it over 12 times. You know, not only was he shooting well, but we can't do that against this team. If we do that against this team, we're going to be in big trouble. And that's the two areas that worry me more than anything else.
All right, thanks, Rick. Good luck in the second half. All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, Rick Adelman played 7 years in the NBA with 5 different teams, including the Chicago Bulls. We'll be back with the second half in a moment. This is the 241st consecutive sellout at Chicago Stadium, better than 18,000 on hand. And the Bulls turning it on in the second quarter, led by Michael Jordan, lead the Portland Trailblazers by 15. Jordan opens up with Paxson in the backcourt, Cartwright, Grant, and Pippen on the front line. Paxson, yes. John Paxson hitting on his first field goal, and it's Chicago 68 and Portland 51.
You know, that was a set play coming out of half. They wanted to get John involved, ran a double pick for him, and he came off shooting a jump shot.
Percy. High point men for Portland. Cliff Robinson with 14 and Terry Porter with 13. Cartwright. So Bill Cartwright with his first field goal. For the Bulls, only Michael Jordan in double figures. Scottie Pippen with 8, Horace Grant with 6, A.J. Armstrong, Scott Williams each 6 points.
You see the Chicago Bulls defense up overplaying, denying Portland, forcing him to pop out deeper to start their offense.
And off that bucket by Drexler, the Bulls now lead 70-53. Minute and a half gone by in the third quarter. Cartwright getting the good position, then threw back out to Pippen. Paxson checked the clock. Grant.
The difference in the Chicago offense compared to the difference in the Portland offense is the fact that Chicago is taking their time. They're running through all the options. When the first option breaks down for Portland, though, they go to a one-on-one and take bad shots from going to the one-on-one, where Chicago flows in their offense.
And that's one of the things they wanted to stop was the quick shot type of thing. The jump ball that time produced by the excellent defense of Grant, timing it, getting it from behind.
During the course of the playoffs, following the series against Miami, Chicago sweeping by Miami in 3, we have rarely seen the Chicago Bulls. Pippen off the break. What a recovery by Pippen, because the ball was knocked away, but Pippen was able to get it back, and Portland wants to talk it over.
When you can get easy scores off a jump ball situation, it's such an advantage. You take advantage of every opportunity presented to you, the Chicago Bulls.
NBA on NBC is brought to you by Jeep, maker of the new Jeep Grand Cherokee. By Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor orders. And by the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it.
Scottie Pippen on his way to a triple-double right now. 10.7 rebounds, 7 assists. At the end of this layup, watch how he almost loses the ball right there. But those big hands hold on just long enough to guide it in. The soft touch by Scottie Pippen.
Going back to the latter stage of the second quarter, over the last 8 minutes, Chicago has outscored Portland 27-8. And they have this big lead, 74-53. Another Portland turnover. Paxson open. Yes. So the Bulls now lead 76-53.
And Chicago got the Trailblazers where they want them. Just playing random offense and turnover again. Here comes Pippen.
And another 24 for Chicago. Jordan for 3. And it comes back to Paxson. And now Jordan being guarded by Porter. Here's Pippen. Yes, and it counts.
Shows him this is the way to the basket, big guy.
But credit Horace Grant with this move, because Horace Grant moved out of the post for him. That enabled the lane to open up, but Scottie Pippen can take it down and score the layup.
It's the recognition of teammates when there's a mismatch. Wait a minute, there's the guy with the ball. Pippen guarded by Duckworth. Open it up. Let him have the lane.
3-point play for Pippen. And the Bulls have outscored the Trailblazers 13-2 in this third quarter. Robinson. Now Jordan being played by Kersey. His first field goal of the third quarter. He now has 37. That was a three-point attempt. It just gets worse and worse for the Trailblazers.
Well, they're not going inside. See, they stand on the outside trying to shoot jumpers, and they're not falling. You got to pound that ball inside, try to get some foul, try to slow this momentum that the Chicago Bulls have, and they're not doing that.
Jordan. With an 81-53 lead. Here's Robinson. He drew the foul. Called on Williams. Well, in this third quarter, Rick Adelman has been going with different people matched against Michael Jordan. It is no longer Clyde Drexler.
You know, we had heard in the build-up prior to the game that is Michael Jordan going to be worn out having to play somebody like Clyde Drexler? What's it going to do to his offensive game? Well, what's happened is Michael Jordan's offensive game is right at the top of itself, and if there's anybody right now who should have a concern, okay, with the matchup situation, Rick Adelman now has made a change, and whether or not this is a statement that he will continue to do throughout the series remains to be seen, but certainly Drexler was not the right guy in that half to be playing Michael Jordan.
Well, not only do they have bad matchups there with Michael Jordan, but right now they have bad matchups with the Chicago Bulls team, because they're not affecting anything that the Chicago Bulls are doing right now, especially offensively. They're moving through the lane just easy. They're not getting bumped, hit, anything.
Shot clock at 4. Chicago ball with 1 on the 24. the shot, and then he got the benefit of the friendly rim. 83-55, Chicago. But Williams is fouled. He'll go to the line. The Bulls have outscored the Trailblazers now 17-4 in this third quarter.
You know, I want to go back to that matchup of Drexler on Jordan for a second. It's not to say that Clyde, okay, wasn't trying to do a good job. I don't care who they would have had on Michael Jordan in that first half. Jordan was on a roll. He was in a bubble, and it just happened to be Clyde was the guy that was guarding him in the first half. That doesn't mean you chuck that out for the rest of the series, because you come out another game and the guy digs in and does a good job on the other end. So you stay with what you know best. Rick Adelman knows his team better than anybody else. He'll make those decisions in the end.
But right now, they're not going about getting back in this game the right way. You got to pound that ball inside. I don't care what happens. Get it inside, make things happen that way instead of shooting jumpers. Nobody's hitting for them outside, so let's go inside.
And Pippen's pass picked off by Williams. Now Drexler picked up by Grant. Rejected by Grant. Drexler off the recovery. Clyde Drexler, with only his 5th field goal, he has 12 points. And that last touch by Portland.
So going back to Magic's inside statement, there's only certain ways you can stop a run and stop the clock. One way is if you get fouled to go to the free throw line, it stops the run.
Set play on the inbounds. So Jordan with 39, and the Bulls lead 85-58. It is another Blazer turnover.
Marv, I'm going to just keep my VCR on, because when that tape is done tonight and my baby is born, I'm going to just pull it out and say, this is Michael Jordan. I'm introducing my son or daughter to Michael Jordan on this game tonight.
And the foul is called when your baby is born.
That's right, soon.
Out of bounds underneath. If you turn your head for a second, Jordan will back cut you, go to the rim. It's just a matter of lobbing the thing up on top. They love starting Michael in the middle of the lane, and then he operates from there.
Are we looking at momentary? Scottie Pippen with 15 points. Bulls now lead 87-58.
Jordan in the middle of the lane. There's the back cut. Starts right, goes left. The lob, perfect.
Here's Ainge for 3. Robinson rejected. And Pippen puts it down. Well, this has reached the point of embarrassment for Portland. They are being blown away here in the third. 5:23 remaining.
A few moments ago, the lob to Michael Jordan. Here's how they set it up. The two big men set screens. Normally, Paxson runs his man off the screen. Then Jordan comes off the double looking for his jump shot. But this time, when Paxson goes, Jordan fakes, back cuts, goes to the front of the rim. Here goes Paxson around the double. The fake, change of direction, on the money with the lob. The timing is perfect by Michael Jordan. From a different angle, down low, Pippen's the guy throwing the pass. Jordan's the one making the play happen.
So the Bulls with an 89-58 lead. 5:15 to go in the third. Portland now with Porter and Ainge in the backcourt. An offensive foul has been called. It's on Drexler. That's 3 on Clyde.
Can there be anything more frustrating than taking a timeout, setting up a play, telling your team to execute, you come out and you get an offensive foul on the screen?
Well, let's give the Bulls credit. The way you beat Portland is to get them in a game like this, where they have to think, they have to make decisions, and usually they come up with poor decision making, and they've done that throughout this game. Poor decision, tipping right there by Williams, but they've been frustrated. Turnovers and jump shots. That's all they've been doing. Turn the ball over, taking jump shots, and the Bulls been transferring that into points on the offensive end.
Scott Williams is now 5 for 5 for 10 points. Loose ball foul has been called on Paxson. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Mark. I'm joined now by James Jordan, and we have talked about Michael being focused in the past, but today, this is ridiculous.
Well, I'll tell you, today this kid has shown that he eat his Wheaties, drink his Gatorade, and he's wearing his Hanes underwear.
There is a very nice commercial for all those three products. Back to you, Mark.
I don't know, is James collecting the fees also?
Exactly. He was in the Hanes commercial, so he knows he's got to get a part of that check, some of that money.
Scott Williams called for the foul is fourth. But Magic, of most significance, you dropped the point a moment ago. Your wife Cookie is due, I guess, momentarily, so you have the VCR set. And this will be the first thing that the new addition to the family will see. Michael Jordan's performance in the first half.
That's right. And within a week or so, we'll have the baby, and I'm going to throw that tape right in there.
I'm sure.
While I'm sitting there watching, he or she will be sitting there watching.
You realize that the voice of the czar will be very, very scary for a youngster. Now to 4:15 remaining in this third quarter. And the Bulls lead by 31. Off the steal. Pass behind Porter, so it slows it down. He fires one up. An air ball from downtown. And here's Porter again. Out of control sequence for Terry Porter.
If the fans are wondering why the press and other people keep talking about decision making, well, there was a bad decision. You shoot a jump shot with nobody back, pull the ball out, run a play, because you're down over 30 points, so you got to run a play now.
In effect, you got to get back into your normal sequence, even if you're trailing by 30 points.
Exactly.
And here comes Jordan. Armstrong with the pull-up. The Bulls lead 93-60. Crowd wanted to travel on Drexler. Porter shooting the three. Loose ball foul on Robinson.
Long rebounds take place when you're not shooting well and when you pull up and shoot quick perimeter shots. As a result, the Chicago Bulls, who have one of the best sets of point guard, two-man, three-man, can get out and fill the lanes. They're always running back at you when you're not making your jumpers.
The hand for Scott Williams, replaced by Stacey King, making his first appearance. So Scott Williams continues to excel in the playoffs. Williams with 10 points. He's hit 5 of 5 from the field. Pippen going to his left. Yes, and a count.
Trailblazer personal foul, Cliff Robinson.
When Chicago plays pick and roll basketball, it's supposed to be an aggressive double team, almost a trap, but you see Pippen gets a clear path to the basket. There was no trap. He was not forced to pick up the dribble. He got a good look, split, took it to the hole.
Standing ovation for Michael Jordan. I'm wondering if we will see him on the floor anymore this evening.
I doubt it. Up 36 right now. It looks like you're going to go into the fourth quarter being up 30 or more unless something happens in this next 3 minutes. So I doubt if you'll see him back again.
Jordan with 39 points. An NBA Championship Series record, 35 in the first half. And Pippen was fouled. The Bulls have outscored the Blazers here in the third quarter, 30-9. Robinson called for his fifth, and it puts Portland over the limit. So Pippen will shoot a pair. Michael Jordan, 16 for 26, 6 for 10 from three-point range. The 10 attempts from downtown is a record for an NBA finals game. And Scottie Pippen is only 1 rebound away from a triple-double. A very nice stat line.
Now you want to know what the difference is between the last 2 series that the Bulls played in this series is the fact that when they went to the basket on Cleveland or New York, they got fouled, and instead of being able to put it in for a 3-point play, they just went to the free throw line, and that was a good move right there by Jerome Kersey. And in this series, they're able to go to the free throw line, I mean in this game right here, and not get hard fouls and continue to make the basket, just like there. Not a hard foul, a reach-in foul by Jerome on Pippen, and he scores the basket anyway.
Once again, Scottie Pippen with an opportunity for a 3-point play.
That in-between game, take it off the dribble, but then know when to pull up because the defense rotates over and stops you short. You must have the in-between game in the NBA.
And with Jordan going to the bench, Pippen has scored 5 straight points, and that's what the Bulls usually want to do, go to Pippen when Michael Jordan sits down.
The Bulls 100 and the Blazers 62 as we approach 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. A blowout in game 1 of this best of 7. 2 minutes of so Duckworth able to convert.
Just look back for a second, the way Chicago defended the pick and roll. They've got Portland backing up all the time, not attacking. When Chicago plays pick and roll, Portland tries to trap it. Chicago takes it to the basket strong.
Armstrong. Chrissy lost it. King with the steal. And Stacey King hears it from the crowd. The point earlier that for the first time in a long while, as Drexler was fouled, we are seeing the Chicago Bulls that were seen throughout the regular season. Regular season that saw them win 67 and lose 15, and a Bulls club that we saw during the course of the playoffs a year ago.
Well, when you get into this free-flowing game, this is where the Bulls are at their best. See, and they're not getting a hard foul. The Portland Trailblazers are not trying to dictate tempo. They're running down and playing right into the Bulls' hands by taking quick shots. So now you're seeing the Bulls instead of the Chicago Bulls.
He's got it wrong, doesn't he? Okay.
And this is what he gets the big bucks for. Magic watching too much Saturday Night Live, I think. A minute remaining in this third quarter. The Bulls 100, the Blazers 66. And Jake O'Donnell with the call away from the ball. Pushing foul.
When you're down 34 points with an entire quarter to go, do you try and shake it up a little bit, maybe throw your full court press, your half court trap on, try to get a little run going for yourself, or you just basically sit back and think you're going to be able to dig it out man to man, defensively?
You know, right now, fourth quarter, what the Blazers should do is try to get into something now, try to see what can work for us on Friday night. Run our offense to get ready for Friday. That's the only thing they should be concerned with. Try to get ready for Friday.
The largest margin of victory in an NBA Final Series game. Washington beat Seattle by 35 back in June of 78, 117-82. The Bulls here lead it by 35.
The rookie point guard decided he was going to be an offensive rebounder that time. He's got to learn you must cover the backcourt for your team. No one back. The Bulls are going to fill the and this time instead of Pippen, you've got your 6'10" power forward Grant scoring at the end.
And they say, yeah, 2 points for me.
Robert Pack, the rookie from University of Southern California, checking in. Pack rejected by Pippen. And the foul is called on Portland.
Personal foul 22, Clyde Drexler.
It's on Drexler. That is his 4th.
Now, I seem to remember somewhere where a team one time in the playoffs got blown out real big in a certain game, and they had to come back, and I think they were able to do it. Is that?
I thought I was going to say that story to the 4th quarter, but now that you mentioned that, the Boston Massacre, when we got beat, I think by about 46 in the opening game of that series, and sitting there watching in the 4th quarter, Boston, I mean, everything went. Sky hooks, jump shots by even the reserve players kind of made all of us get upset, get our game together.
And how did Pat Riley handle that for the next game?
He made us watch film for the next 3 days. All the bad things that we had done in that game, and just got our minds ready. And we had to play a more physical game, a smarter game, and we were able to do that in game 2.
All right, here's Pack with a very impressive drive. Robert Pack goes 6'2", 180, but he can soar, as you just saw. Final seconds of the 3rd quarter. The Bulls 104, and the Blazers 68. Michael Jordan with 35 of his 39 in the first half. Chicago with a 38-7 advantage over Portland in this 3rd quarter. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Back in Chicago Stadium, Marv Albert, along with Magic Johnson, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, as we head to the 4th quarter. Game 1 of the best of 7, game 2 here in Chicago. Friday night will be on hand starting 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Pacific for game 2 of this best of 7. Well, Michael Jordan has checked back in. We thought perhaps we had seen the last of Jordan in the final minutes of the 3rd. Here's Ainge galloping, and it's tipped home by Bryant.
That's the first time that we saw 5 or 6 passes from the Portland team and ended up in a score. That's what they must do. Pass the ball around 5 or 6 times and then take the shot instead of one pass and shot.
Bulls 104, Blazers 70. Jordan now guarded by Ainge. Livingston, yes, Cliff Livingston, who has shown flashes during the playoffs once again this season, hitting on his first field goal.
And that started out as a Michael Jordan shot attempt, and only because the defense got a hand on it, he was able to recover, get control, and then find a teammate and drop it off at the end to Livingston.
Very poor shooting by O'Brien. Able to hit, crowd wanted to travel. Portland only 5 for 21 in the 3rd quarter. Stacey King not able to hit. Here's Bryant sweeping in. And the Bulls now lead 106-74. Rick Adelman going with Duckworth and Bryant up front. And then he has 3 guards. Watley is out there now with Pack and Ainge. Shot clock at 1. Here's Jordan. Armstrong passing on the 3.
For Chicago, you really only have one guy that can create shots. That's Michael Jordan, and he's not really warmed up yet, so they're going to struggle offensively, this group, for a little while.
Ainge. But see, I don't know if I like this because you got a man like Michael Jordan in a groove, in a rhythm. Why not, okay, have a seat for the rest of the night and stay in that groove for next game instead of bringing him out now when he's cold and he's on the floor. That's the second time on the floor. And he may get hurt. He may get out of that rhythm and not carry it over into Friday's game.
I'll try and be Phil Jackson and think for him for a second. The one reason might be because they're so used to running their offense with either Pippen or Jordan, and Pippen was taking his blow. Phil might have thought it was too much time left in the game to let him go without one of them on the court.
Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Well, tonight's Miller Genuine Draft Genuine Moment occurred in Game 6 of the 1980 NBA Final. Our 20-year-old rookie guard by the name of Magic Johnson stole the show, playing all 5 positions. He produced 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists as the Lakers eliminated the Philadelphia 76ers. And Magic, you took over at center for the most part, as I recall, because of the injury that was suffered by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Exactly. And nobody gave us a chance to win that game, and we did that. And it was just a true great moment in my life, and I'm sure just the Laker players, everybody, we all contributed in one way. Because people forgot Jamal Woods had 38 points in that game.
Well, in recognition of that memorable moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund.
You know what bothers me? I'm still waiting for my magic moment, and I just can't seem to find one.
We will get to you eventually.
And leading off to what you just said before the timeout about Michael, I understand Coach Jackson's what he wants to do. But what happens is when you come back in, you've been sitting and you're cold as a player. I know I didn't want to come back in because it's hard for me to get it back going again.
Would you have expressed that? Would you have said, I'd rather sit it out?
Probably not. If you're called to go in and do your job, you go in and do it.
Well, the Bulls lead 106-78. 4 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. King posting. Won't count. Hugh Hollins with the whistle before the shot. John Duckworth is third, and it is a non-shooting foul.
If they're going to win game 2, Kevin Duckworth has to get more shot opportunities. He must be more involved in the offense.
And he opened up involved, and the Trailblazers opened up by hitting their first 7 field goal attempts, and then it all turned around as Michael Jordan went to three-point land, as P.J. Armstrong just did, and the Bulls now lead 109-78.
BJ knows when Michael has the ball, he just floats to that corner spot, hopes that Michael draws his defensive man in a double team situation. Then it's a matter of knocking out open jump shots because Michael's going to find you and give you the ball.
Wild shot thrown up by Bryant. Wayne Cooper has come on for the first time. Wayne, a 14-year veteran out of the University of New Orleans, and he is guarding King. Here's Scott Williams. Well, we talked about Terry Porter being in the shooter zone. You don't think of Scott Williams as a shooter, but he's in the zone. He's hit 6 of 6. And the foul is called. You know, you break down Michael Jordan's game and what he contributes to the ball club. Check out this equation during the course of the playoffs. He accounts for 34% of the Bulls' points, 11% in terms of assists, which led, as you saw, to 176 points. But in the first half, with that record 35 points, as Ainge is able to bank it home, and Ainge has 8 points in the first half with 35 out of Chicago's 66 points. You are talking 65% of the offense.
And what is surprising about the way he did it, not the fact that he accomplished it, because we all knew that he's capable of doing it, but it was all from the outside. 4 points on drives. He had a layup and a follow-up dunk. And the rest of them were jump shots.
I don't think Ennis Watley will want to see that shot on the replay. That's a back to Portland, but first a timeout taken with 6:23 left in the fourth.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Toyota, reminding you to always buckle up. Do it for those who love you. By Delta Airlines, we love to fly, and it shows. And by Cold Filtered Genuine Draft Light, there's nothing typical about it.
Well, we've been talking about the exploits of Michael Jordan, and deservedly so, but the other Chicago Bull who has come through in a major way, Scottie Pippen, while Jerome Kersey has struggled. You recall the last time that Portland played Chicago here in Chicago, which was a blowout for the Bulls, Kersey went 0 for 8 from the field against Chicago.
I thought this would be the key matchup for the series, and I still feel that way. If Pippen is able to dominate Kersey, Portland can forget it. They will have no chance in this series. But if Kersey is able to come back with a strong showing, that will enable the Portland Trailblazers to get into that free-flowing game that they like to play, and that would enable to take some pressure off of Clyde Drexler.
Foul was called on Pack. Will Perdue has checked in for the first time, and now Phil Jackson with a front line of Livingston, King, and Perdue, Armstrong, and Hanson around the guard. So Michael Jordan sits down.
Getting back to that matchup early in the year, back in November, Kersey had 21 against Chicago. Pippen had 28 that particular evening as well.
Abdelnaby will come on for the first time. Danny Ainge departs. Abdelnaby in his second year out of Duke, who has not been getting the playing time. 5:45 remaining in this fourth quarter. Bobby Hansen hitting on his second field goal. He has 5 points, and the Bulls lead 115-80.
See, Portland's got to realize, and they're thinking for game 2. There's a break right here. Good passing. Casey misses. Portland has to realize this. They cannot play the Chicago Bulls like they played Utah, like they played the Lakers. They must change their game, because you can't free flow against these Chicago Bulls and just shoot jumpers and just come down and make bad decisions, because the Bulls will turn them into dunks and layups like they have in this game.
They come back at you so quick. You make a mistake, you make a wrong decision, you pay for it quickly.
Armstrong and King able to get the new 24. Well, the Portland Trailblazers knocked off the Lakers 3-1, beat the Phoenix Suns 4-1. There's Perdue. So Will Perdue, who has seen his playing time diminish, first against the Knicks, then against the Cavaliers, able to hit on his first field goal attempt. Portland Trailblazers, after knocking off the Lakers and the Suns, then beat Utah in 6, bringing them to the NBA final. Loose ball foul on Stacey King. Well, as we mentioned earlier, the biggest differential in an NBA final series, Washington knocking off Seattle. A 35-point difference. And right here our score is 117-80. Washington beat Seattle 117-82. Perdue is called for the foul. It has not been a happy night for Portland coach Rick Adelman in his 4th season as head coach of the Trailblazers, the first captain of the Portland Trailblazers, an original member of the franchise. He is the NBA's second winningest coach over the last 3 years, behind the Bulls' Phil Jackson.
You know, the reason why Will Perdue's time was cut, because Scott Williams has been playing so great. I mean, he's been playing outstanding basketball in all the series, even before this one.
Scott Williams emerged last season in the playoffs. You certainly got a taste of it in the series against the Lakers. Livingston able to go glass.
The reason we lost that series was because of the Chicago bench. They outplayed and dominated our bench.
Both Livingston and Williams came on in the championship series against the Lakers. Here's Livingston from Armstrong. The Bulls lead 121-82.
I kind of see a lot of confusion going on with the Portland team. They don't know what quite they want to run, and they got different guys not in the position they're supposed to be in.
I think you were right on target earlier, though, where Portland was in the process of being blown out early third quarter, but they continued to fire up from all angles rather than go to either pounding it inside or, on the other hand, trying to work on something that might help Friday night. Timeout has been called by the Blazers with 2:56 remaining in the fourth. The Portland Trailblazers and the Chicago Bulls resume with Game 2 of this best-of-7 championship series here on NBC Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. That'll be Friday night, Game 2 of the series. Stacey King on the foul line. The biggest lead of the night, a 38-point margin. The Bulls right here lead by 37, the all-time record, largest differential in an NBA Finals game, 35 points. Washington doing it against Seattle back in '78.
And I think our total was 33 against the Celtics. We're right up there too, I think.
Quick research tells me yes.
But let's remind the fans that we lost that game by 33. We ended up winning the series. So this series is way from being over. One game is only one game, and that's what the Portland Trailblazers have to keep in mind.
Exactly why you have a 7-game series. So if you run into something like this, you forget it, you put it behind you, learn from it, you make your adjustments, then you show up on a new night with a different energy level, perhaps new concentration, and a few wrinkles here or there.
Watching tomorrow, you can believe that on that Portland Trailblazers.
And you wonder what wrinkles Rick Adelman can come up with against Michael Jordan. As you mentioned, Mike, very little he could do when Jordan was sitting from long range, 6 for 10 from a three-point land. But I would think there will be a slightly different approach.
I would think we'll see a little bit more aggressive Portland defense, perhaps a little more trapping, getting out and denying, overplaying a little bit more, maybe go to their half-court trap that they have used at times in the past to take Chicago out of running their offense as smoothly and as well as they do.
And a lot more passes on offense instead of one pass or no passes and shot attempt by the Portland Trailblazers. You'll probably see them slow the game down a little bit more.
How many times you hear coaches say, are we running our one-pass offense tonight?
So the ball goes back to Chicago on a night that has seen Michael Jordan come through with one of the great NBA final performances, 35 points in the first half, and that is a new record. Here's Bryant, and Bryant gets it back, very persistent, and able to hit the Bulls, 122, and the Blazers 87. Portland has turned it over 20 times.
And off those 20, I would believe that Chicago has scored maybe 15 times off those 20 turnovers.
Nice give and go between Hansen and Purdue is fouled.
And you know what happens? Guys get to know each other in practice, and that's why that give and go was nice. You can tell that they were looking at each other and say, okay, I'm a back door, but I'm going to look for you, Will, when I get it. And they worked that to perfection, the give and go. Young people out there should watch Bob Hansen and Will Perdue on that play, because that's what basketball is all about.
To me, one of the nice things about having a few days off before you start a championship series is you really notice what the points of emphasis are for the various teams, what the coaches have been emphasizing in their practice sessions. With Chicago, you knew it was offensive execution and spacing. They kept moving out behind the three-point line.
Off the travel. Chicago gets it back as we approach 1 minute remaining in this fourth quarter. The capacity crowd has been filing out right throughout the quarter. An enormous night for the defending NBA champion Chicago Bulls. Here's Purdue, wild shot. Livingston with the save off the face of Purdue. To check out the description of that on the Will 1-900 number that he has going here in Chicago. I have a feeling he'll be dealing with that. The steal by Watley puts the move on, and Armstrong gets it back.
To tell you how good the Chicago team defense has been tonight, Portland came in here averaging 115 points in the playoff. Tonight, only 89. That's how good the Chicago defense has been tonight.
And Pack was stopped by King. It'll be Chicago possession.
Show you a veteran, smart player. That time, Hansen had a wide-open three-point shot. The crowd yelled for him to shoot it. He knows he doesn't want to rub any dirt in their face. They got to play the rest of the games. He just backed it out, swung the ball.
Standing ovation for the Bulls, who are just running the clock down with that 122-89 lead. Shot clock down to 1. Livingston from 3. And that will do it. The only consolation, it's a 33-point differential, which is 2 points shy of the largest margin of victory in an NBA Finals game. The Bulls take game 1, led by Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. They do it 122-89. We'll be back in a moment. The Chicago Bulls defeating the Portland Trailblazers in a romp, 122-89. Michael Jordan, 39 points, an NBA Finals game record 35 in the first half. Let's go to Ahmad, who has Michael Jordan alongside him.
All right, thanks, Marv. Michael, if you guys were trying to come out here and make a statement this evening, I'd say you did it with an exclamation point.
Well, I don't think you can make a statement in the finals. I mean, this is just one game, and one game doesn't make the final. But we wanted to get out of the blocks quick. We got to defend our home court, because we got 3 games out there, so that can make a big difference if they come in and get one.
What about you in the first half? You shot 6 3-pointers, set a league record. You were in a zone.
I was in the zone. My threes felt like free throws, man. I really didn't know what I was doing, but I was taking them, and they was going in. So, that really helped the game.
Must have been the working out we did this morning. All right, congratulations, Mike. Back to you, Marv.
Yes, that was it. The fine work done by Ahmad with Michael. And here is Michael, after hitting a three-pointer, looking over at you, Magic, and giving the indication that he is bewildered by that hot shooting touch. We'll be back in a moment.
In high school, college, and 5 times during his NBA career, his return to play thrilled us at the All-Star Game. Now Magic Johnson seeks the one title he's never won, Olympic champion. Magic Johnson, one to watch this summer on NBC.
Well, back in Chicago, Michael Jordan lit it up in the first half, 35 of his 39 in that first half. 6 3-point field goals, 11 assists for Jordan. Final score of the Chicago Bulls, 122, Portland 89. Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Game 2 of the NBA Finals right here in Chicago. Later tonight, following your late local news, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, followed by the all-new Late Night with David Letterman, and later with Bob Costas. For Mike Fratello, Magic Johnson, Ahmad Rashad, Bob Costas, Quinn Buckner, Marv Albert saying so long.
NBC Tower. This is WMAQ-TV Chicago. And now, Carol Marine, Ron Majors, Jim Tillman with weather, and Mark Giangreco with sports. The Channel 5 News at 10.
Here's Jordan for 3. Yes!
It was Jordan with a record-setting barrage of three-point bombs. Number 23, Michael Jordan, blazing tonight, leading the Bulls to a crushing first-game victory in the NBA Finals.
Good evening. It's that same Michael Jordan right now at the podium speaking to reporters. We join it live.
I felt really comfortable behind the line from that distance, and I just started firing them. And, I was knocking them in.
Michael, records like this, great games like this, offensive outbursts are nothing new for you in your career, but where does this rank in your career as greatest moments?
Well, we won the game. That means a lot. It's great to remember that. But, right now, it's not really going to have any impact unless we win it all. That's the biggest key right now. The individual accolades, I've always said, is great, but, my focus is team-oriented right now. And, it's going to be something that I remember for a long time, but not right now.
Michael, you gave this time. What were you thinking?
Well, I could miss. I didn't know what was happening, but I was shooting them. It was just one of those things that it was a zone, as Lacey said, and I was just taking a shot and it was falling. I didn't know exactly how to explain it.
Michael, you like the pace of this game?
I like the pace because we control it. As long as we can control it, it's a great pace for us. But our main objective is to try to control the tempo, run when we have to run, set up when we have to set up, and try to keep them off balance, and certainly try to keep them out of that open court game when they got it going.
Michael, early in the game, did you kind of feel like your teammates were either nervous or backing off a little bit, felt like you had to do something to take control?
No, they seemed very relaxed. I didn't think there was any jitters this year as it was last year. And last year they were looking for me a lot more. Today, they were penetrating, but they were moving the ball to the open man, which I was open. They seem aggressive, and they did not seem tentative at all.
But didn't it seem like you relaxed them even more when you opened up the game and softened up?
Well, let me tell you, I surprised them as much as I surprised you and myself with the way I was shooting the ball. And, it's just one of those situations when you get that high, you want to get the ball to the guy. And either it's me or it's someone else, and try to ride that wave while you can. And that's what the team was doing, basically. And, yeah, it was motivating. It was emotional, high, intensifying. It was all that we needed to continue out the game. So, yeah, it was a confidence booster, I think.
Michael, how would you Baylor held the record for points and a half? How you beating it?
Well, as I said, individual accolades is something that I really appreciate, but I really won't dawn on that until we win it all. And that's something that still left to be done. So I'm not really going to focus in on that individual accolade, really. Was I frustrated? Well, it's just like most teams when they get down, they try to get back quick, and next thing you know, they started making turnovers and moving the ball, and that added to our emotional high. All right.
Michael, how do you think?
Well, that's the way it is in the world of Michael Jordan. It felt good. The shot was dropping, so he took it. Mark Giangreco is courtside. Mark?
Ron and Carol, when Michael amazes himself, what do we say after that? He's Superman, he's Batman, he's the Green Hornet, he's the League of Justice. He is out of his mind. And I say we recap it with some incredible and historic highlights. Early on, it was Terry Porter of the Blazers who set the tone. Porter hitting the three, and that put Portland up 22-15. They controlled the opening moments, where then Pippen drives and comes down and flips it out to Michael for the three at the horn. And here they come. Then on the break, it's Pippen to Michael again for another three. They're within two. Michael faking Drexler right out of his shorts coming up. And suddenly we are tied at 25. Blows right by him. Cliff Robinson with the jam to make it 43 all. But then Michael went absolutely nuclear. Yes, indeed. 6 3-pointers in the first half, 35 points in the first half. All new records in the NBA Finals. We move to the third quarter. Scotty on the drive. It gets hacked by Kersey and make it 79-53. And then the alley-oop inbounds. Oh, with the big claw. It is Michael again. Then on the break, MJ Pippen buries it, and just forget about it. The Bulls in a blowout, 122-89. Michael winds up with 39. Clyde Drexler with just 16. Pippen had 24 and just missed the triple-double. Dick Versace, come on in. I'll tell you, you were doing the radio for this game. Did you need a thesaurus?
I have no voice left. I have no voice left. No, actually, I do have some voice left. I told you to keep the faith. This is a great team we have here in Chicago. There was an atomic bomb, a hydrogen bomb, dropped on the Portland Trail Blazers with 6 minutes left. In the second quarter, the score was 47-45. And then all of a sudden, it was 53 to 23 in the next 18 minutes. And that was it. It was over. It was Hiroshima, and they never recovered.
They just miss winning by the biggest margin in finals history. They almost got to 40. They were up by 38. They win just short of 35, which was the record. Is this a fatal blow to Portland? Could they just as easily turn around and blow out the Bulls back in Portland, even after this?
Well, you know, we're going to play Friday here in Chicago.
Yeah, right.
That is the next game, and I want to tell you something. The coaching staff, Marco, for the Portland Trail Blazers has a huge job to do. They've got to call in all the psychologists. They've got to do a marvelous job of. I mean, I saw nothing but blank faces out there. I mean, just shocked.
Especially Drexler. He seemed to be out of it from the beginning, and then boom, you know, he never got it back.
Well, you know, one thing, though, that you want to remember, this team did win 57 games. Remember the Cleveland series? Chicago beats them by 14, and then they come back, and in Game 2, they beat Chicago by 26. Right. Who would have thought that could have happened? And it happened right here on this floor that we're standing on. I think, though, that Portland didn't expect this to happen.
Not at all. All right, we'll be back live from the stadium in a moment. Raman Carroll will go downstairs with more post-game reaction to this incredible blowout.
All right, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Dick. Well, it was a great night for Michael Jordan, a great night for the Bulls. It was a great night for Bulls fans. Channel 5's Phil Walters live at the stadium with that part of the story. Phil?
And Carol, 18,000 fans leaving here grinning, some of them even giggling, because no matter how much they believed in their Bulls, this is really hard to believe. And what made it so delicious to them was that there was some doubt going in. From oh no, what's wrong, nail-biting and head-grabbing doubt to ecstasy. From the fear of the other guys going 7 for 7, I had to sell standing room for $150. He missed the game himself.
We would overcome Michael Jordan's team leadership, overcome Michael Jordan's clutch shooting, overcome Michael Jordan's defying of gravity. But in no practice, in no tape session, in no way could they have known they would also have to overcome Michael Jordan's three-point shooting circus. Like another element to the game. Like when Magic Johnson started hitting hook shots in the finals in '87, Michael Jordan started going from way downtown. One bang, make it two. The best traditions of Nick Witherspoon here on this one night in Chicago. 3. He kept going from farther and farther out. This is a man who'd had 5 three-pointers during the playoffs, 27 during the regular season. He hit 6 in the first half, 6 for 9 from three-point range, and even Michael said, I don't know how I'm doing it. And if he didn't know how he was doing it, think of what Rick Adelman had to say. I really don't know how you're doing it. Michael did some of the more traditional stuff as well off the Pippen steal. Yes, that looks a little bit more familiar. Worth another look. See how this one is set up, too. Hello. Jordan walks off at the end of the half with an NBA Finals record of 35 points in the half. That was breaking Elgin Baylor's mark. The Bulls led by 15 at the break, and in the second half, they didn't give up. Jordan dished it out more than doing it himself, this time to Pippen for the juggling layup. Michael again off the inbounds, ka-ching. And even B.J. Armstrong on the break to Horace Grant for the slam, and Horace lets the camera and you at home know who's the man. The Blazers are left absolutely mesmerized by this 122-89 defeat. Michael smiles after yet another night at the office with another new element to the game. 2 points shy of the NBA Finals record for the most decisive margin of victory. They win by 33. They led by 38 early in the second half. Of course, it was 15 at the break. Game 2 is Friday. Probably. Michael finishes with 39 points, 35 in the first half, by which point the game was decided. How badly was it decided? These are the first half statistics of the Blazers starters as opposed to what Michael Jordan did all by his lonesome. And once again, the most amazing stat of them all. After shooting just 32 for 116 from three-point land during the regular season and the start of the playoffs, Michael Jordan goes 6 for 9 for trays in the first half alone, and that is all she wrote, Dan.
As promised, joining us, the Hall of Fame coach, Jack Ramsay, who coached the Portland Trail Blazers to the title in 1977. They probably could have used you tonight. We've been talking about Clyde Drexler. This was his coming out party. It didn't seem like Michael wanted to give him an invitation.
Well, Michael, Dan, had a monster game. I don't think I've ever seen a player, any player, dominate a game like Michael Jordan did in that first half. He had 35 points, an NBA record for final round playoffs in a half, 18 of which came from three-point line. He was just dominant. And not only from the offensive end, the defensive end as well. We're going to take a look at him defending Clyde Drexler at the post. Now, he's behind Clyde, but as the pass comes in, watch Michael knife around, deflect the ball, chase it down court, and he's going to pull up for a jumper, getting by Danny Ainge, and knock down only a 2 this time. But it's all net for Michael Jordan and part of his overall contribution to the game.
Now, we keep talking about Michael Jordan, the things that he does well. When he came into the league, he was not a great outside shooter. He has made himself a weapon out there. He said prior to the start of this series, Clyde is a better three-point shooter because he chooses to be. He showed us something tonight, a different element of his game.
Yeah, Michael is an incredible athlete, a great player, and he can do what he wants on the floor. Tonight we saw him go after threes. I don't think he started the game with this in mind. I think the game flow gave it to him. And when he felt the rhythm of knocking down threes, we're going to take another look at that last one that he knocks down and then walks back on defense. Watch him. He dresses up after the pass from John Paxson.
Nobody's within 10 feet of him.
Nobody's near him. A little late defense, but it's much too late. And Michael, with the hand spread, said, what are you going to do? You can't stop me, fellas.
Actually, he gave a shrug to Magic Johnson. He looked over at him to say, I don't know what I'm doing. He was in one of those zones tonight. You said on the early edition of SportsCenter that a key was going to be offensive rebounding. Portland was one of the best in the game, up there with the Knicks. Now, they looked like they were lethargic. They didn't even put a body on a man all night long.
Yeah, I'm sure Rick Adelman is not going to sleep tonight because the Blazers did not come up and do the things that they had to do. One of the things was to control their defensive board, which initiates their fast break. And we're going to see a sequence here where the Bulls get a shot and then, watch, Scottie Pippen all by himself but misses a shot. Horace Grant all by himself finishes a shot, and the 4 Trailblazers never left the floor. You can't get rebounds standing and looking.
You've been in this situation before. You're Rick Adelman. You just lost by 33. The thing that came to mind with me, the Lakers in 1985, Game 1 against the Celtics, lost by 34. They called it the Boston Massacre. The Lakers rebounded, won 4 of the next 5. How devastating is this loss, and how long does it stay with you?
Well, fortunately for the Blazers, they have a game Friday, Dan. If they had to wait till Sunday, I think it would be devastating. Coming back quickly after a bad loss is actually a help to Portland. They will refocus. You saw the picture of the Blazers bench, the starters on the bench as the game ended. They're very serious, somber, I think a little stunned by what happened tonight, but they'll regroup and come back and play more of their game. Rick Adelman has a lot of fuel to throw on the fire. Turnovers, they had 12 at halftime. We said they had to keep their turnovers between 10 and 15. 12 at halftime that led to numerous Bull fast breaks.
Clyde the Glide started out at a 3-point field goal early. He drove to the hole, got fouled by Scottie Pippen right away out of the chute, doing well. Duckworth, they got him off the blocks early, had a hoop right away. It looked like Portland did what they wanted to do. What is it? It's like the air went out of their balloon when Michael started taking over.
Yes, and that's just what happened, Dan. Michael Jordan took over this game. I think he must have said to himself, look, this isn't going the way I want it to go. I've got to be more assertive. And he was. He just took over the game late in the first period, carried it through in the second period. He really had a role going in the second period. They couldn't stop him. He was responsible for the 15-point lead at halftime, and after that it was no contest. Michael sat back. He only scored 4 in the second half, but he didn't need to.
All right. Dr. Jack will be with us throughout the NBA playoffs and Game 2. Friday night in Chicago could see more of the same. Keith?
All right, guys, we came to witness a basketball game tonight, and instead we got Michael Jordan performing target practice on the Portland Trailblazers. Michael, 39 points, 6 of 10 from three-point country. Have you ever gone off like this before?
Not really. I mean, I get in the zone before, but not from that distance. From that distance, it really felt like shooting free throws, and I felt very confident, and the defense kept leaving me, so I kept taking them.
Coming into the game, a lot of people were comparing yourself and Clyde Drexler, two premier athletes in the league. Were you making a statement tonight trying to say maybe, hey, I might have a bit on this guy still?
No, I was just trying to do what I had to do to lead this team to a win. The comparisons are made for the hype, but we both know that, we have other players on this team, on his team as well, in a competitive situation. So, I'm going to do what I have to do to help my team win. I'm not going to look at it as a one-on-one challenge with Clyde Drexler, even though we're going to be playing against each other.
Was it a concerted effort, Michael, on your part tonight to come out and instead of passing the sugar around a little bit, taking it by yourself and scoring?
Well, the defense dictated that. I mean, I basically came out and said, hey, let's see what's going to happen with the game and how I can fit my game into the flow of the game. And next thing you know, the offense started coming straight at me, and because I was hitting the shots and I was carrying the load for a while. But I think everybody fed off of that from that point on. So, I didn't go with the initiative of trying to get the team off offensively, but I just wanted to fit my game into the system.
Got to be happy with the production of the bench tonight. Guys like B.J. Armstrong, Bobby Hansen came in tonight for without Craig Hodges in the lineup.
I think that's going to be a great confidence booster for them, and this is certainly a good aspect of our team, and we're going to need that support.
Michael, Game 2 goes Friday, and I hope you save some for Friday night.
I hope so.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Game 2's Friday, guys. Right now, let's go back to Sports Center in Bristol.
Games last year we did to L.A. The year before Detroit did to Portland. Put you in the back seat when you go away and you have to play 3 games on the road. We know it's a desperate game for us. We have to be ready and playing.
Phil, do you think everybody focusing on the three-point shooting of Michael, that your defense really forced a lot of things and took him out of the game at the start of the third quarter?
Now, the defense from the second quarter on was very good. I think we caught up to the rhythm of what Portland plays at in the first period, their retaliation at the three-point line. Porter, the shooting that they had in the first half was incredible, and we got a chance to realize what the rhythm of the game was, and we caught up with them. They started out quickly, though.
All right, Phil Jackson, kind of abrupt, very monotone and low-key, doesn't want anything he says to be misconstrued at this point. He's not going to gloat over it. Let's go back to Ron and Carol and see what's happening in the outside world.
All right, Mark, thanks.
3-point loss. The good news is it's only one game. I guess that's what Rick Adelman will keep telling himself and probably telling Mark Jones, who's live with the coach at the stadium. Mark, take it away.
Yeah, Dan, Coach Adelman joins me right now, and he says that he's not ready to slit his wrist quite yet. Coach, what's the deal with Michael? How do you stop him in Game 2? What kind of strategy do you use? Do you run a different guy at him and doubling him?
Well, he just really got it going tonight, and some of the shots he took, I don't know if doubling would have made a difference. He was shooting from such a long range, but yeah, we have to look at what we did against him, and we have to do a better job there, obviously, but I wasn't as concerned with Michael making all the shots he was making as the way we performed offensively and the way we rebounded. They got a lot of offensive rebounds, and we turned it over way too many times.
Thought that the foul trouble early in the first quarter with your 4 and your 5-man, Duck and Buck Williams, really hurt your rotation pattern.
Well, it really hurt us. When Buck goes out, it hurts us on the boards, and that was very evident. When Duck went out, you'd have no low-post game except for Clyde then, so it did hurt us, but you can't look back on that as any type of excuse, because the third period we had all those guys, and they really made a run at us. So you just got to go back, and it's one game, and we've got to regroup and come back on.
Let me ask you this. Did the time off in between games hurt you?
I like that as an excuse. They had the same time off on one less day, so I don't think that's any factor at all. We have to play. We're a better team than this, and we know that. It's one game. We've got to make some adjustments and learn from what happened tonight and come out and play much stronger.
In the third quarter, you're only down 15 points, yet at the end of the third quarter, you're down almost twice as much. Did you guys quit? What happened?
Oh, no, our team doesn't quit. What happens is we weren't very efficient offensively. And as the third quarter went on and we weren't scoring, we got softer defensively, and they were scoring and they were getting the open court. And that hurt us. So that's a very good team we're playing, and we just got to come back.
Coach, thanks a lot for joining us, and better luck next time in Game 2 on Friday.
I hope you see a different team Friday.
All right, the Portland Trailblazers, the Western Conference champions, guys. Clyde Drexler held way under his season average tonight. That also was a key in their loss. Now back to you.
Thank you, Mark. You have to wonder what that Portland locker room was like. It was either a lot of yelling or not a word said.
It looked pretty quiet on the bench.
Yeah, very quiet. Not much to say about it. When SportsCenter returns, the day and night in baseball, including that first-place matchup between the Reds and the Cards.
Maybe the Blazers were talking about the French Open to roll